it's the Kremlin against these meat businessmen. And the meat businessmen are just as bad as the Kremlin, right? They fought each other over everybody. They kept, they were making money, and they had this thing going, they kept it going. And it threatened to walk out every now and then. And then comes Game 5, finally, after this month of training. And in Game 5, I could see that the Canadian team was better. I felt, I was so relieved. I mean, I could see they're better. They're going to win this series if fate is fair, but there's luck in any sport, right? And I thought if luck is on their side, or even, it's just even, they're going to win. They're going to win the series. They're better. You could see it. And Canada got up in that game 4-2, and the Russians came back and they got some lucky goals and they won the game 5-4. And that's a crusher, right? And it was a real crusher. Now the Russians are up 3-1, and 1 is tied. So the best Canada
has to win.
They got to win 3 in a row.
Straight, yeah.
To win it, they got to win 3 in a row. And the Russians had won by more goals than he was going to. Yeah, that's right. Canada had to win the 3 in a row. Yeah. Okay, now here's where this is where it gets really interesting. And I still thought they could do it, right? And in the next game, close, hard-fought game. And in a hard-fought game, you know, if the referee's anywhere halfway decent and so on, the better team ought to win at the end. And in the end, this guy, his name was Paul Henderson, and he was not a star. He was one of the grinders next to the stars, right? But and he wasn't that big a guy. He maybe 175 pounds, but wiry. He comes through at the end of the game, and he scores a beautiful winning goal, 3-2 Canada. Boom. 3-2 and 1 tie. Game 7. That's 6 games, yeah. Game 7. I can't remember all the details. The same guy scores the tying goal late in the 3rd period, Paul Henderson. And then later on in the 3rd period, and that goal was a sensational goal. It was like, you know, one of the picturesque goals of all time. Oh, jeez. And then he scores another, not so sensational, but nice goal near the end of the game to win it. So he's now scored 2 consecutive winning goals, right? This guy who nobody calls a star. And now comes Game 7, 8, and oh, Christ, all kinds of stuff. They're fighting over who will be the referees. They're fighting over everything because now, and the Russians come in, and anyway, the game gets going. And the Russians at the end of the 2nd period are up 5-3. That's really a long way down in 1 period, right? And they go out, they're putting on it, and the Canadians are good for comebacks. That's what they're good at. And they've been coming back in the series, and they do. And the stars take them back, the big stars, the Hall of Fame guys. One scores a 5-4 goal, and then the biggest star of them all, he was later the general manager of Florida Marlins. He scores the tying goal, and it's 5-5, and there's a couple of minutes to go, right? And the Russian authorities, these guys are going, it looks like it's going to be a tie, right? It's going to be 3-3, and the Russians are happy as hell, right? And all the fans, right? And it's a standoff. And the Russians are saying to the Canadians already, well, we're going to claim victory because we've scored more goals than you. We've outscored you. We're going to post that this is our victory. They spoke too soon, right? Because guess what? With something like 1 minute and 4 seconds left, Paul Henderson scored again. Yeah, shit, I could cry. 6-5 Canada. Oh, God.
That's awesome.
That was incredible.